face of a cow just sprayed with mace. Picture, if you will, my friend, the look upon the face of a cow just sprayed with mace by the loser of the race. A wild monkey runs to the arms of grateful nuns who are happy as the sun to caress a monkey's buns. A wild monkey runs to the arms of grateful nuns who are happy as the sun to caress a monkey's buns. Samurai is caught on candid camera as he dances to the music of the band Banana Ramurai. A drunk autistic samurai is caught on candid camera as he dances to the music of the band Banana Ramurai. A wild monkey runs to the arms of grateful nuns who are happy as the sun to caress a monkey's buns. A wild monkey runs to the arms of grateful nuns who are happy as the sun to caress a monkey's buns. A wild monkey runs to the arms of grateful nuns who are happy as the sun to caress a monkey's buns. Happy as the sun. Monkeys.
This is Crossing the Chain with your host, Jen Nelson. I'm David Werba, and this is episode 2, Show Me the Wallets. Jen, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready for the overcast and raininess to be done here in the great state of Virginia. And I've seen it up and down the coast too. I know some people in New York and some people in North Carolina that are experiencing some overly abundant, gloomy weather. I'm done with it. I'm just saying. Done with it.
Nice. And by the way, I'm working on getting my background, the little room divider thing like you have. I'm jealous of what you have to get. I need to block the light. It's insane behind me.
Well, that's what happens in Arizona. It's bright and dusty there, I hear.
Yes, and hot in the summers. But so Jen Nelson, live stream expert, underwater sea educator.
I don't remember what I said last week. I'm just gonna have to keep coming up with crazy titles, and that kind of is inspired by two of my favorite drag queens that have a show on Wow Presents, and they introduce themselves and come up with like vampire zombie toe suckers or something like that. They really come up with some weird titles for themselves every week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm David Werba, and I wear a lot of hats in my business, so I figured I'll wear a lot of hats in this show. And my hair is terrible right now. But anyway, so the first thing before we get to the wallet discussion, just wanted to give you guys a few updates on what's going on. We're doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Like we mentioned in the first show, Jen is learning this whole space as we go along. And the stuff that we're doing and that she's doing behind the scenes, we're actually going to be featuring in future shows. And an example of that is her starting to blog at Steemit, right? So last week we mentioned her first post was just introduction, just saying hello and everything. And I think she made about 18 cents. And so she just did another post about wine antics and posted about her show and uploaded a stream there. That one's made about 80 cents on Steemit, and we're going to explain why it's going to continue to go up and the different techniques and strategies you can do to improve and build your network very easily. The other thing that's coming up is whale shares. It's called whale shares. Whale is a common term in this whole crypto blockchain space, and it's just like, you know, a casino whale or a business whale. It's just a person that has a lot of influence and has a lot of tokens and coins and power. But it's a brand new program that's launching in less than 2 weeks, and it's very similar to Steemit, with some of the people from Steemit are working on whale shares. And this is important stuff because this is the early adopter stuff like we were talking about last time. This is a key time. So anyway, let's get to some wallet discussion. Jen, are you ready? Should I just bust right into it? I think you're muted right now for a second, but
to share these things out, and
yes,
taking some time to get my microphone going, because that's how that works.
You got to remind people you are the producer. I want people to remember that. Jen's pushing all the buttons. So
yes, and doing
give her some leeway.
Yeah, and if you are live with us on Facebook, or if you're listening to us afterwards, wherever you are on the internet, welcome so much. I am the person that's probably typing behind the scenes as well, and trying to address things that you guys bring up along the way if it's relevant to the topic. If you start talking about weird things, I have nothing for you, though. I'm sorry, not sorry. Yeah, I'm ready to talk. I know about this much of, and that's a very minute amount, about wallets, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I think you've basically set up the first one that I'm going to talk about today. But before I get into it, so there's two types, really. There's cold and hot wallets for cryptocurrency. And it's a rapidly changing ecosystem. They're evolving and morphing very quickly. Like the first wallet we're going to talk about is Coinbase today, and that I set mine up like 3 years ago, and it is so different today, and with the features and just how it's integrated with different platforms and everything. But anyway, a hot wallet is a wallet that's connected to the internet in some way. So that can be through an exchange, which I'll talk about in a second, or it can just be like a basic wallet where the main function is just for storage and to transfer to your local bank, and also to fund from your local bank. Cold wallets it's just like cold storage. A cold wallet is not connected to the internet, so it's a hard drive or it's a thumb drive.
Oh.
And yeah. Do you have any questions about that, or?
So no, it sounds like, to me, it sounds like something that's detachable versus what's on your computer.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's, just like, I don't anyone who understands cold storage, I mean, that's what it is. If you want to move a bunch of files or data into cold storage, you transfer it to an external hard drive or a thumb drive, and that's the only place it stays. It's not connected to your phone or internet in any way, so it's ultimate safety in that sense. And anyway, I'll explain. That's the last, so I guess.
Just to be clear, it has nothing to do with this kind of wallet. I just want to make sure. Like, I have wallets for everything. As a woman, I have a coin wallet. I got one of these that dangle on your arm. I got one that's I got crossbodies. Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to see how to accessorize and how to make this fit into my life.
Those are like hard drive cozies right there. You can drop some thumb drives in those things.
There you go. That's
prance around town and tell people about all your cold storage in your pocket.
Cold storage. So your cold wallet can fit in your real wallet.
Absolutely. And it's protected with a nice leather covering.
I know, right? And it's kind of funny.
Purposes.
Like, this does actually connect with me because I watch a lot of mystery boxes. If you don't know what mystery boxes are on the internet, okay. So people will spend gobs of money, anywhere from like $20 to, I've seen $50,000 mystery boxes that people are selling on eBay. So the concept is that somebody packs a mystery box and then sells it on eBay, and the recipient doesn't know what the product is.
So it's like The Price is Right. It's like,
Yes.
what box are you going to choose?
Yes. And I watched one of them where that is more kid friendly, more does a lot of kid oriented content, but he bought one for, I want to say he spent either $1,000 or $5,000 on it, and somebody gave him a cold wallet, which was a USB drive, and it had like 3 Bitcoins on it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, at some point, it's got to be, the value's got to be like 10 times greater than what you pay for. Otherwise, people would not be like gambling for it. Yeah.
You hope. I mean, I think at the lower price points, people get kind of hosed a little bit because at $20 or $50, you may not really recoup that value. But this guy spent somewhere north of $1,000, and he ended up getting at least 100% return on investment because somebody put that digital currency in the box before it was up to what, $12,000 at some point.
Oh, it was up to 20. Bitcoin was up to 20 at one point. Yeah. Just for one. So if he had 3, it was at 60,000 at one point. That's crazy.
I don't remember the timing of it. I remember it being worth, like, he made like $10,000 on that because of the coins that he had in there.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right, well, let's get back to it. So
okay.
the first hot wallet that I'm going to talk about is Coinbase. That's kind of the granddaddy, the gold standard. They're already a multi-billion-dollar company, by the way, and that is Coinbase.com, I believe. I think we're going to show a little graphic. Yeah, Coinbase.com. Boom, right there. Look at that. It started out very basic, whereas it was just storage. You can send and receive and just, keep your Bitcoin there. And then they added Ethereum and then Bitcoin Cash and then Litecoin. But that's it. So there's only 4 currencies that you can store there, yet they have probably the greatest reputation globally. And that's what I mean by the gold standard. So it's a multi-billion-dollar business because of the transaction and the volume. It's insane. At the end of last year, I believe about 100,000 accounts were being created per day. Yes, 100,000 accounts per day. It was growing that fast, and it's still growing fast. But there's some pretty cool features now. So when you want to transfer like your crypto balance to your bank account, that I've done that process at midnight, and it shows up at 9 a.m. the next day. Like it's very fast to transfer your bank, and it's very clean. It was kind of buggy for like last year in the early days, but it's pretty streamlined. Support is not that great. You don't get quick responses, but I want to make that point because it's consistent with this whole ecosystem. Security with all this stuff is almost entirely on you, the holder of your accounts, the holder of your wallets. This is one of the big paradigm shifts of this whole space. Is there's not phone calls, there's not phone numbers, people to call like, hey, I just sent my crypto to the wrong address, can you send it back? What? There's nobody to call for that. You're muted, Jen. And
yeah, no, and I'm trying not, like, I'm pushing stuff around, and I'm like trying to be considerate of your time. And I learned that I dabble in things. I like to learn things, and I worked with NiceHash for a little while, just trying to, mine coins mine coins on when my CPU was running anyway in the background at nighttime, and NiceHash had that hack. And there are so many people that lost so much of their whatever they were storing, and they hadn't cashed back into something like Coinbase, lost all of it. And there was no return policy. It's not just in Coinbase, it's a lot of the crypto space, period.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good in this space, and there is some bad. And from the security side, bad's not really the right word. It's really more responsibility gets put on your own shoulders. So you can't take the same approach like this just lazy approach where I'm not worried about making a mistake. I'm just going to here, I'll enter the address. I'll send them 10,000, click, boom, send. Like, I always double check. I always test send stuff. If I'm going to send like thousands of dollars, I'll send like $10 first, make sure that it works and it went through. I always do test sends.
And I think you have to kind of think of that as PayPal in the early days. I mean, people very quickly forget how the public perception of PayPal and how sketchy it seemed to be sending money digitally. Like, I did the same thing when PayPal started. Like, I'm gonna like triple check that it's the right email address, your username, your phone number before I actually send it. And if it's a large sum of money, like, can I send you a penny first?
Exactly. And the cool part with crypto is the transfer fees are so small. They're tiny. And so you can test. It's smarter to test. Mm-hmm. Send $1 to your friend and pay the like 5 cents just to make sure it's the right thing before you send thousands or more and everything. But the good side of this is the speed. If you guys, the people watching the show, if you don't know already, you can send $100,000 to your friend in China or a different country for pennies, and it's there in 30 minutes. If you use Bitcoin, if you do Litecoin, it's there even less. If you do Stellar, some of this stuff, it takes seconds to send it. And so you're saving so much money in terms of wire transfer fees and everything. But I don't want to get too far off base with the focus here, but generally, Coinbase it's a good place to start, and it's located in 33 countries.
Okay.
So it's considered the gold standard in the United States, but I understand we have an international crowd and always will with this show. So Coinbase.com, you can do a global search just to check, if it's in your country and everything. But and they have some nice like little bonuses when you sign up. You get $10, and they have a referral system, and if you could send it to your friend, both people get $10. It's kind of cool. A lot of these programs are like that. They have these little referral bonuses. Anyway, I feel like I was missing one thing, but I'm going to move on. So the other program in this space, very similar platform, is called Gemini, which is founded and owned by the Winklevoss twins. So if you follow the whole like crypto blockchain space, you hear their name a lot. And if you don't remember, they are, allegedly the co-founders of Facebook. They had to sue Zuckerberg for their cut and everything, but they won. And they were in the movie, The Social Network, and everything. But they are huge in crypto. I mean, they're supposedly billionaires in terms of crypto assets. So they started this exchange as a competitor to Coinbase, and they're slowly gaining traction. And Coinbase has the big lead there just because of their connections with corporations and governments and all the regulatory issues. They were the first to kind of break through those. So I don't know if anyone will catch up to them. I really don't, because they're just such a massive business at this point. But anyway.
And how does that, like, I the only reason, number one, I'm on Coinbase is because I listen to you. Mm-hmm. Like, when you tell me to do something, I pretty much go along with the process because you haven't steered me in the wrong direction yet. And that was a year ago that I set up Coinbase. And you're right. It was, like, just the user interface has completely changed. And the confidence one could go on the page, look at it, and feel good about choosing Coinbase. How does the popularity and the changes compare to something like Gemini? And why would somebody pick one over the other?
I think it's a trust factor. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, the biggest brands, the most recognizable brands are going to automatically have more trust just because you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone and their brother talks about it. Most people use it. So it's like, well, which one should I use? Should I use the unknown one or the one that all my friends use? But I mean, there's just a lot of competition rising up in this space, and it's yeah. I mean, plus, I don't know. The Winklevoss, the guys, they're really pushing the needle in this space. You have to give them credit for that, because they're trying to push through the exchange traded fund market, the ETF, which is going to change everything. But anyway, yeah. So you want to move on to the next section of wallets here?
I can, but I don't know if you actually answered my question.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna harp on it because look, I understand. Like, why does somebody go to Walmart versus Target? They sell generally the same thing. One of them is actually more expensive, but they have a completely different look and feel, and it does boil down to trust. But why shouldn't somebody, as this is becoming more mainstream and people understand that they have to have this type of wallet, which is the hot wallet, right? They have to have it to make transfers, to collect their coins, to transfer them to bank accounts. Why not? Why Coinbase over Gemini? Like, convince me one way or another.
I don't know if I can, Jen. It's
no.
taste. I mean, I stick with what I first said. I feel like a politician right now. I don't want to dodge your questions. I'm sticking with my first answer. I feel I've already answered you.
Okay. But it is trust, and I understand that. But there has to be some point where people understand the baseline is Coinbase, and that is your home base, as we've said in this area of discussion. But when do you start looking at another one? When do you okay, well,
all right, I'll give you another answer. User interface.
Okay.
Like Coinbase it's so easy.
Okay.
Once you get in there, it's the UI, the UX. Just play around. It's like, wow, it's really smooth, easy to work with. It's got a mobile app. You go to, but again, just like all these platforms, Jen, I would encourage people just join. It doesn't take long. It takes like a minute to join. Go log in, look at the back office, do a test transaction, and try Coinbase. Like, which one you like better?
Yeah.
Well, then use that one.
And is it Gem? Do you know the address to that? Is it Gemini dot? I don't think it's Gemini.com. I really don't think it's that.
Yeah, I have not even tested and used it.
You can't bring up new topics, new material without being able to provide the connection. Come on now.
All right, I'm doing a just for the audio, folks.
And if I would have been a good producer, I would have had a screenshot for you as well.
Well,
but
it is Gemini.com, Gemini.com.
Oh, really?
I have not joined. I've not used it.
There you go. At least we've provided options.
Yes.
Coinbase is in 33 countries. It is what I have used. It's what David recommended that I used when I started out. But there is an alternative there. When you don't want to shop at the biggest name, if you don't want to shop at Walmart, go try Target. Go try Big Lots. I'm just saying. We're Americans. We like diversity.
All right.
Options.
So
now we can move on.
Yeah, and a quick point I want to make. Do you do YouTube searches on all these wallets that we're going to talk about? There's like really in-depth tutorials, like 45-minute tutorials on some of these. We don't have time in this show to do a tutorial for every single reference that we mention here. We just wouldn't be able to. It would be like a 6-hour show every week. No one wants to watch that. So we're talking mainly about the options, why you would want to choose one over the other, and just covering, the important stuff that I feel.
And even if nothing else, having the discussion of what these things are, breaking it down to the very baseline. Like, this is where I am with wallets, okay? This is where I am with wallets.
All right, so this next part, there's like kind of a bridge between all this stuff. So the exchanges. Now, exchanges So like Poloniex and Bittrex are a couple crypto exchanges in the United States.
Okay.
And but they allow people overseas to also use it and trade on it and everything. Now they do not excuse me, they do not have the ability for people to wire their local currency right into the exchange.
Okay.
And that's a hot topic that's been going around for years. People want that. So the exchanges you can compare to like E-Trade or Scottrade,
Okay.
but for it's all cryptocurrencies. And that's the big difference is you can like wire money into E-Trade. You can just do a wire transfer to fund your account, but you can't with almost all these exchanges. So now if you're storing your money on the exchanges and trading everything, I'm trying to answer a question I know people would have. It's like, well, why do you need Coinbase? What's the point of Coinbase if you're doing all your activity on the exchange? Why do you need that liaison? Well, I just said why. Because you have that's the home base. When you go trade on the exchange, you want to pull your profit or any whatever you have there, you send it to Coinbase and then you send it to your bank. Now that is changing fast. See that this is like any day. I mean, there's already exchange. They've already put the word out that they're going to allow people to send money direct into the exchange. And then it's like, whoa, that's a major shift because that people will start maybe leaving Coinbase because it's like, well, what's the point? Why do I don't want to have 10 different wallets. No. I want to keep my money on the place where I have all my activity.
Yeah.
So as that news comes out, I mean, we'll keep you guys updated, but this stuff changes like every month.
Well, immediately you think I wouldn't keep money in something like E-Trade. I wouldn't put money there and keep it there for a long time. I would want a place to download it to, or to, in this sense, download into.
Yeah.
But, and Coinbase seems to be right now a middleman and a little bit of an extra layer of security. Like, okay, I've made X amount of profits on my exchange wallet, like BitShares, right? BitShares is an exchange wallet?
It's an exchange, it's a wallet, and it's like a dozen other things.
Okay, well, for this purpose, it is an exchange wallet.
Yeah.
Okay. Like once I've done with my trading and I've made some profit, or I just want to have it in a more secure place, maybe notionally, not really. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know how security measures change.
It's like E-Trade. It's like, you say you put in 5,000 and you trade it up to $50,000, and then you're just going to take a break for 6 months and not trade for a while. Do you want to leave it in there as if it's your bank account? No, you probably just want to move it. You probably just want to move it to your bank, just so it feels safer. So like Coinbase is really like PayPal in that sense. It's this liaison where you transfer back and forth, but it has this safety aspect where that's just kind of where you keep stuff. Now, so the exchanges same with Coinbase, Gemini, there's different rules in different countries. So certain countries don't allow some exchanges, certain countries don't allow some wallets like Coinbase and Gemini. So again, this would take hours for us to list all the rules of each country. All I can say is just check first.
Yeah.
Just you have to do a little research for your location. Go to some of these sites that we're talking about. If they're not offered in your country, I mean, a simple Google search you'll find what is, because there's hundreds there. I just went to the CoinMarketCap today, coinmarketcap.com, and it has a list of the top 100 exchanges by volume. That just hundreds of millions of dollars being traded every day on these exchanges, and it ranks the top 100. That's just the top 100. There's hundreds more.
And I think that's why this conversation is kind of important, is because it seems overwhelming. And if you break it down into your options, I think you have some, familiar places that you can use here in the United States, and probably some of them that are in the UK and going forward in Europe. But then there's also kind of some segmentation of it too. Like there are a lot of options out there, but they're not all meant for you where you're located.
That's correct.
And
yes.
And just to have that discussion that it's okay. It is overwhelming. I feel overwhelmed, but they are generally country specific and regional specific.
All right, so let's get to the next section, which is their desktop wallets.
Oh Lord.
You know, so they're like Coinbase is browser based. They also have a mobile app. Exchanges are mostly browser based, but some of them have, you know, desktop versions. Now there's strictly desktop wallets.
Lord.
Which is just an application on your desktop, and that's Jaxx, Jaxx, and Exodus are two of the leaders there, just how it sounds. So basically all it is storage. There's no trading on there. It's just a place to like transfer all your crypto and keep it there. Okay. So a lot of people are like really don't see the need or the use for that, and they don't see much of a difference from Coinbase.
Some people also wear tinfoil hats. I'm just saying.
The difference with these are like it's decent.
Just saying, it seems like an extra layer of security to me.
Yeah, the desktop wallets I think appeal more to the decentralized purists, if that's even a phrase, like the people that are just really obsessed with decentralization everywhere. Coinbase is a, you know, centralized company. They have a CEO, they have a, you know, shareholders, all that stuff. These desktop wallets, the brand like that created them, the people that created it and designed the software, they never see your balance. They never have access to anyone's balance. That's the way it was built. It's truly like anonymous. So it's a place to just, it's kind of like a pathway towards cold storage. It's getting closer, where it's a place to just send your crypto where you don't need or want to touch it for months or years. And the security on it is several levels higher than the other platforms we were talking about. We're talking about 20 passphrases in order that you have to go through just to set up your account and log in. And it asks you have to write it down on paper once you go through it, because it's deleted once you get through these steps. And it's unhackable. I mean, these things are unhackable. It's the stuff you have to go through with the security steps.
And I'm going to guess this is where wallets started.
What do you mean?
I mean,
do you think you're saying these were the first ones that were made?
Well, I don't know if they were the first ones ever made, but I feel like this is how people started in collecting or at least securing their cryptocurrencies. It seems like a natural evolution would be, hey, I'm very, like, this whole blockchain and cryptocurrencies is all about decentralization, right? So I'm going to keep my stuff as safe as possible. I probably am knowledgeable about the broader context of the internet and maybe even farther out there. I want to make sure that I'm very secure and what I'm doing is very secure. And then as it has become more popular and more people are using it, things like Coinbase are evolving. And there may be more competition in the future on a cloud-based wallet like that. So it just makes me think the desktop is where it kind of started.
I mean, well, just to expand upon that, the competition is so fierce. It just blows my mind, because when companies in this space, they see brands like Coinbase rising from, you know, a $5 million company to a $3 billion company, it's like, whoa, why? What's going on? It's like, why is everyone rushing there? Why are they raking in all the fees? Why is everyone going there? What features are important? So the exchanges are like, they've realized if we can allow people to wire money right into their account, it's like, I think there might be somewhat of a mass exodus from some other platforms, even Exodus. There might be a mass exodus from Exodus. All right. Anyway, so last section here. I'm glad you like my jokes, Chad. I appreciate
I'm
that.
trying for you.
Practicing my stand-up routine. That's what I'm going to do later in life, and do the nursing home circuit when I'm 85.
Okay.
But cold storage hard wallet. So I believe we even have a special, really fancy graphic coming up here that I'm really looking forward to. So the two big brands are the Nano Ledger S and the Trezor. And there's also, look at that right there. The Nano Ledger S. You see that? It's like a little thumb drive, and it just kind of peels open. You plug that directly into your computer when you want to send some crypto to that. So when you're done, you unplug it, and the only place your cryptocurrency is or can be accessed is through that physical device. So why people would use something like that? That is for people that like long-term hodlers. Hodl is, hold on for dear life. It's a term that's used all over the place in crypto. It's basically like burying cash in your backyard, like 10 feet underground, where you don't plan on touching it for like 20 years. A lot of people also, maybe like, I don't know, a few times a year, they look at it almost like a 401k or something. They just kind of put a little money away each month. They pull out their ledger, they plug it in, they send in $100, and then they go put it in the safety deposit of their bank.
Or they put it in a mystery box.
Or sure, but yeah, the point is that's that physical device. That's the only way to once it's sent into it, it's the only way to access it. And it has that same security layers. Insane, like the steps, all the passphrases and the codes and everything you have to go through, unhackable. So I have tested these devices and the Trezor and everything, and I have chosen not to use them. I'm just it's not a need for me personally. I'm not going to go too deep into my own habits or anything, but I've tested them, and I just
okay. Well, then personally. Give me a reason why somebody would, even though you don't use it. That's perfectly fine. Why would somebody want to? I mean, to me, it seems like, hey, I need to give you some money, or I need to physically give you something. That seems like a decent way.
I'd have, dozens of friends that have this approach. They are interested in investing and buying in this, new revolution of cryptocurrency, but they don't have any desire to trade.
Yeah.
They don't even set up exchange accounts at all. They set up their wallet on like Coinbase, where you can buy Bitcoin on Coinbase, you can buy Ethereum. They buy it, they send it to their ledger, and that's it. Like, that's the extent of their experience. I mean, and they keep track of the news and everything, but so they invest, and that's their method, and that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
if that's all you want to do.
It does make sense. It's a nest egg. You've purchased them, or you've mined them, or something along the way, and you're like, I want savings bonds. I want to hold on to them. I'm collecting ledgers. Like, I just want one. I want to be like Pokemon. I want to collect one ledger per coin, and just
Yeah, it's
the
or like
seem like they could do that.
Like baseball cards or something. Whatever it is, you're buying or collecting something with no plan to touch it for many years. And I have like I said, several friends that they did exactly that.
Hey.
They're like, you know what? I'm just going to buy 1 Bitcoin. And they did like but this was like a year or two ago. Bought 1 Bitcoin. That's it. He moved it to the ledger. That's all he's going to do with it. And if these predictions come true, like John McAfee and others, where they say it will be worth $1 million in maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, then hey, great, it paid off. But I don't know.
I that seems like a discussion for another show.
Yeah.
It just the idea that any one single cryptocurrency can be that strong, when new ones are emerging all of the time, and that's only going to become inundated as we go forward. That just seems like a further fetched story for me.
We'll see, and we'll have an expert come on the show at some point where
Good,
they
that's
will.
Not me.
Yeah, it's not us. Neither of us are going to be ever saying like go buy this or that or giving you direction, because we're not financial professionals. But you want to get to that rant thing?
Did you? You know that whole segment where we're like talking about things other than the chain.
Yeah, let's get off the chain right now.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ask one question, and I actually wrote this down. Like, how many wallets do people actually need? And you can describe this at different levels. As a beginner, as somebody that is more passionate about crypto. Like, how many wallets do you really need going forward?
It depends on how active you get in this whole space. It depends on what platforms you're using. So I'll give an example for you. You just joined Steemit, right? So Steemit is blockchain social network, but Steem is the native currency. Yeah. And when you log in your back office, there's a section for wallet. Yeah. So your earnings that you make blogging and on the platform and sharing and everything, they accrue in the native wallet on steemit.com when you log in. So at some point, if you want to cash out or transfer it or anything, you have to send that somewhere. Now, you can't send it directly to Coinbase, because Coinbase does not. Oh, it only does the 3 coins. 4 coins. But they're adding more. They're adding like another dozen supposedly towards the end of the year. So then can you move Steem currency to BitShares, and hopefully one day BitShares will go to bank? That's one option. So, or you can also go to Bittrex, Binance, those are the exchanges where you just send the Steem directly to your exchange wallet, and then you have to sell it into Bitcoin or sell it into Litecoin and then send it to Coinbase. So there's an extra step in there. There's always that trade up. I know, and when I tell people, they're like, "Oh, no, it makes sense because they're it's all about like trying to be a smart business, right? Like Coinbase is trading and providing these services in the strongest cryptocurrencies. So it makes sense that when anybody can create a cryptocurrency with a few steps, we'll say, as you have experience in that, you want to force those people to actually play on a higher level. So if I'm earning Steem coins and they don't really equate to Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum by any way, you got to come up. You got to find a way to exchange that, and that creates security for everybody to get it into the banking system. Right. And I laugh when I'm kind of helping people set the stuff up sometimes, because some people are like, oh, another, what, I have to go to the exchange and then I'm like, man, the whole process takes like 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. You got to remember that, when people, they're still like trained of like, oh, transferring money, oh, hours and days, because they're conditioned to like this old system. But it's like, boom, you want to send it to You want to send it to Binance? Boom, you click send. It's there in a few minutes. It's like cool, and then.
But I think it's
Bitcoin.
even
That's
more than the thinking about transferring money. I think it's about the way the psychology of clickology, okay, that I like to call, that people don't want to open another window. They don't want to click another button. They're inundated with different platforms and passwords and stuff like that as it is. And this is in the digital space, and you're going to have to adapt to this and incorporate it. But there is that hesitancy on top of the banking hesitancy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And it's back to like one of the first points I made today is how much has changed. Like, I mean, 8 years ago, it was extremely difficult to do anything in this space. Like, only the super nerds were able to get at the forefront and figure this stuff out. The people that like IT tech nerds were able to manage all this stuff. So the newbie friendliness is taking years really to pull a bigger crowd into this whole space, but we're getting there. But still, like I said, it's still somewhat disconnected, but it's changing. Like, ultimately it's just going to be all, like, I know people who are working on off ramps and on ramps that you can apply to any platform, meaning, wire to, wire from, just instantly, and any currency. It's not just like the native one. You send any currency into the platform, and then it exchanges, it shape shifts it in the process. And the deer's coming back.
This is moving into another discussion that I have yet to approach. It seems like I'm learning a whole other language. Anytime you go to learn a whole new language, you try to get the basic structure of it, then you try to build out your vocabulary, and then you connect it to what you are used to. And that's why I spend a lot of time connecting it with wallets and talking about analogies as in mystery boxes, because I'm trying to give people a connection in real life, and why it's so powerful that the Big Bang Theory talked about that cold hardware storage. A little thumb drive. You're welcome.
A non sequitur, a strange tangent here based on
oh,
that.
Lord.
Holding up that wallet, Jen, I remembered this story from a few years, like 5-6 years ago. It's like, man is arrested at an airport for trying to smuggle Bitcoins from another country. Like, the law enforcement was so clueless at the time that they thought you could actually, like, they suspected he had a backpack full of Bitcoins.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Exist. Like, there is no such thing as a physical Bitcoin. I mean, it's like, what? Some of these stories.
Not like a coin. I do remember that, though.
Do you?
Yeah, I do, because I think that's when the coin, like the Bitcoin logo or representation.
There's companies that create physical coins.
Yeah.
And they put the logo on it.
Yeah.
And people were thinking that is actually a Bitcoin. Like, that thing is worth $500 or something.
Yeah, and I think that's when the media picked that up. That's when people were kind of playing on that.
Right, so he had a backpack full of those coins, and they thought he was like smuggling like millions of dollars in there.
That seems like a century ago, though. It really does.
Yeah, in this space, it was. Yeah.
All right, so I'm ready. If you're ready for
Off the Chain.
Off the Chain.
Nice audio there. Thank you for that.
You do know we could still be heard, right?
Oh, I thought there was an
So we did this last week, and I'm looking for the graphic for this. Here we go, Off the Chain. We did this last week, and if you remember, I personally ranted about slow drivers.
Yep.
Because this is a segment that's supposed to be more fun. It's supposed to be getting off of blockchain, because this is real life and we're real people. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll go first. I'm going to get mine out of the way. It's pretty short.
Oh. Let me down already.
No, but it's off the chain rant. You know, most of the rants are going to be something I'm annoyed about, something that bothers me. Probably, we'll see. Toxic people and toxic environments, right?
Some
This
sludge noises now.
yeah, this just kind of, it's just this like theme throughout my career, and it's, I don't like to think about it too much, but I just see it in other environment, workspaces, work environments. I see it. Sometimes I'll dip my toe into a project and I'll see that there are toxic people working on it. And over time, I've just decided like I exit early out of those situations because I know what it leads to. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth the time and energy to maybe make an extra few $1,000s or an extra, even like an extra $10,000 or $20,000 a year to have your existence mostly be inside a toxic environment just for the money. Like it physically is not worth it on your health mentally and your body. Like that's just what I believe. It has a really damaging, energy sucking effect if you stay in that stuff. And it's I don't know, I really think it's behind the collapse ultimately of brands and businesses and organizations when the people running it who have the control are toxic people, disrespectful, just, you know, and have techniques such as this, where I've worked on projects where the owner actually, he approached his business in a manner where he never planned on ever paying anyone. That's how he operated. I've worked with a few people like this. Like it was a conscious choice where they would hire someone, get a lot of great work out of them, whether sometimes it was awesome work, sometimes it was bad, but they always planned on firing him a month later and never even paying him anything, and just have this revolving door of people coming through where basically you get all the grunt work done for free and build the value of your business. And then in the process of firing them, I've seen this where they just make stuff up of how bad they are, even though they're amazing talent. And it's just stuff like that where it's just, man, it's just really annoying when I see it, and especially up being a part of it. But when I was younger, I had great patience for that because as you're building a career, but today I have none for that. Like as soon as I start seeing that stuff, I detach from those
I can't
projects.
even imagine being in a work environment like that. Like in a physical work environment or in a digital work environment.
It really is. But it's disgusting, but it isn't for the person doing it. That's what just baffles me.
I'm actually
like they could live with that. Like that's their modus operandi. That's how they operate, and they're okay with it. And you see it in corporate America. You see it in politics. You see it all. Just this like horrible, like toxic behavior. But anyway. Go ahead, Jen. That's all I have.
I actually think I'm going to save mine for next week, and we could talk about my next week because I want to jump on this bandwagon. No, you came up with a thunder. I'm not stealing your thunder. I'm jumping on your bandwagon. I'm jumping on the rant because it affects so many people. This is a great topic, and I think it's as I've gone forward. Right, I left a government service and I was in the military, and that's all I had known up until I was about 32 years old. And then I came in and started working exclusively in the digital space. I didn't jump on a corporate job or go work at building another career some way. I came right to the digital space. And as I've learned, what is toxic in a physical work environment can be very different than what is toxic in a digital work environment. It could be the same, but there are definitely some differences. And I've noticed that people that aren't on the same level that you are, energy-wise, motivation-wise, end state, goal, work ethic, those are very toxic people to work with in a digital space, where you can't reach out to somebody and say, yo, you need to get this freaking work done. And your only point of recourse, not to physically connect with them, but is to have a conversation with you, is so different in a toxic way. Like, I've worked with people that don't get it, that we're not matching energy levels, we're not in the same goal mindset, the growth mindset, and it's toxic, and it'll prevent you from
it's people that, like, the toxic tag that I'm kind of I put on a lot of situations usually involve people that have zero emotional intelligence. That's a really big one. Like, I don't know if that means anything to a lot of people, but the term is EQ. I have friends that actually work in this. It's an extension from the psychology field, and I've done insane amounts of research on this stuff. My degree is psychology and everything. I believe 100% that EQ is just as important or more than IQ in almost every situation in your career and life in many ways. And if you are not conscious of the way other people feel about what you do and say, and you don't care, like that means you don't have much.
Yeah.
And like, if you lack the ability to possess compassion for people, caring, understanding, all stuff like that, there's people in the whatever business they have zero consciousness of this stuff. They don't care, like, that they will fire someone and never pay them and have that be their plan from day one. They don't care about the effect. They don't care how they're perceived. They don't care. And those are also people, they're liars, they're cheaters, they're thieves. Like, that's what's behind all this stuff. And it's I mean, I spent a lot of time breaking it down just because I'm a deep thinker on this stuff. But
you're very cerebral,
sure, but I have seen it when I kind of look back on past projects I've been on and observed others. When you see the cause for them breaking down, this stuff is a lot of the reason why.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. I will tease you guys out there.
Don't forget the disclaimer, by the way, Jen. Are we still playing that today?
Yeah, we'll play that because we're not lawyers. We don't play one on TV.
Yeah.
We're not financial advisors, of course. But I will give you guys the teaser for next week's Off the Chain, and be ready for this, David, because we'll talk about my topic next week, is appointments.
Yeah, so I'm going to steal your thunder.
Think about that. I mean, you have something to say about appointments. Everybody has something to say about appointments. So, yeah. I learned a lot, and this is probably one of the longer shows in the 2 shows we've done, but I'm genuinely going through learning more than just Coinbase. Okay. Cool. I really am, and understanding that whole process takes a little bit of time. So I really thank you, David, for again having me be a part of this, and for teaching me something along the way today.
It's gonna keep happening.
Yes, it is.
You know what? I'm going to make an appointment to make sure it keeps happening.
On that note.
How's that sound? Yeah.
On that note, thank you, everybody, for joining in live or on the replay. Catch you guys later.
Crossing the Chain is a production of One World Now Media. The show's hosts, guests, and affiliates in no way are financial advisors. The show itself in no way constitutes financial advice. Trading cryptocurrency can be risky. You should always do your own due diligence and consult with your own financial advisor. This show is strictly for educational and entertainment purposes. See you at the next show. Thank you.